Hey everyone, welcome you all to today's session. I am Parth Varu, Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor India, and yes, I welcome you all again. But before we start our today's event, let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, participate together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding their differences. Be kind and considerate in a way we all engage. Yes, we do encourage you all to participate. Please drop all your questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. And now I would like to welcome Takir for our host for today's event, who's going to talk on building Azure infrastructure using Terraform. But before I bring him in, can you all drop in the comment section from what place you all are joining in today? Hey, hi Takir, how are you doing?
Hey, Parth. I hope you're doing great. I'm good as well. What about you?
All good, all well, all perfect. Looks like
That's
our
great.
audience
That's
are very excited for today's session.
Absolutely. That's a pretty much like a topic you say like Terraform and the infrastructure we usually check out in the software development pipeline and the software development lifecycle to deploy our code, deploy our application, and through deployment you can access those code, those access application, and that is running throughout this whole world. So excitement is absolutely stunning. No, it's always on the high.
That sounds very exciting. And yes, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, sir. If I could be sharing the screen, it would possible. Yeah. I hope it's totally visible now. That's great. Yeah. So, hey everyone, let us start building with the Azure infrastructure using the Terraform, right? So, I hope you must have understood about the Azure. Obviously, that's a predecessor of the event, and it doesn't matter that if you're not very much aware about it. So, but yeah, I hope you will be understanding. So, the Azure infrastructure, the VM, the collection, the IP, the storage, the all the stuff around the infrastructure through the Azure is being allocated using the Terraform, right? Obviously, I always love to go with my introduction first. So, hello everyone, I am Toki and a Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador from the India region. I lead the Gold Ambassador and the Student Ambassador of Microsoft Learn in the India region, help them build growth community, and as well as pushing them throughout their hurdles which they are being occurred. I'm also working as a developer relations at Tagos, basic from the India region. So Tagos is basically a self-funding open source blockchain. And yeah, obviously, I'm the speaker for today. You can connect me out on Twitter or basically X, formerly Twitter, at the underscore Sakir Ahmed, and hitch me out whatever you have thing in your mind. We can pop up and build together. So again, ciao. Understanding the basics. This is much important, right? Uh, Let us start with the infrastructure part. We must have known about how we are creating together to understand what is being allocated and what are the applications those being running on. So these are quite important aspects in the IT services and application. Um, Parth, can you tell me that is my screen updated for the same?
Yep.
Understanding the basic slide is given.
No, the slide is missing.
Not yet. That is missing. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
now you can see the folder structure. Yeah.
Yeah, understanding the basics. Okay, that is good. That is good. So infrastructure is all about building the code, the building the base on which our code deployment can be done, our push can be done, our IT operations can be done. Right? These are the services. So at obviously you can create an analogy in your head that you're sitting in a building, in a room, or in any of the places. You might be having your day-to-day routine. And where is that all posted? Obviously, on an infrastructure. The building is an infrastructure, and in those things, in those infrastructure, certain things happen. Your operations happen. So there comes an analogy about the infrastructure. So what about the infrastructure as a code? You might be thinking, hey, Tokir, in our day-to-day lives, in the DevOps part, we always hinge out again the word with the ISC, the infrastructure as a code. So what is all about? So my friends, it's a typically the certain number of codes which help you to build that infrastructure using your code editor, right? So that is why I'm pinpointing the VS Code, the Azure, again and again with the topic against topic. Here comes a final, the Terraform. Obviously, it's the Terraform, the event which we are currently hosting upon is obviously the open source tool which help us to build and provide the infrastructure and write the code on the VS Code, which help us to define like, hey user, this is you have to do so that this can be built upon Azure or any of the cloud services. For the instances, we are considering Azure here, the Microsoft Azure. Going further, is Terraform the infrastructure word a buzzword? Hmm. Hmm. Obviously, I know. It's quite not relevant when we are hinging out together and discussing what is Terraform, what is infrastructure. So let me tell you that it's not a buzzword. It is absolutely a technical word which you have to understand why is it so, and I have found a best way to understand that why is it so not a buzzword. Right? Let me tell you. Let us get through the need first. Let us suppose I'm a DevOps engineer, right? I'm working as a DevOps engineer. And every time I cannot be on the console of the Azure portal, that hey, let us create this VM. Hey, let us create this IP. Hey, let us create this infrastructure. Every time I'm leading my console, I'm leaving my code editor and creating one VM. Obviously, that's not a good thing. That's not a good practice in the DevOps culture. Basically, in the DevOps, the software development lifecycle. So here comes a infrastructure as a code in the form of Terraform. It helps you to decide, set up your code in a simple manner, like, hey, user, this is all you have to do, this in the certain step, and build up your infrastructure. What is your infrastructure? Your infrastructure is typically your Azure VM, or it can be any instances on the cloud, right? So, it's a magical hands-on. So, obviously, my friend is here. Uh, my friend is here, my ducky. He always help me to debug the code, build the code, and deploy it. So he's my very good friend. His name is Ducky, and where I found him, I found him in the GitHub field day, and he was building code alongside me. And from there onwards, we became very good friends. Right before we get on the hands-on part, right? So you might be thinking, like, hey, Toki, uh, does everyone can do it? Yes, obviously everyone can do it. That is why it's open source. No? That is why it is open source. So all you need is the Azure CLI and the Terraform installation already with your Azure subscription. The three things you already need on your system. That is a must do. But before we uh, move in, before we move in, uh, so this is my terminal, and what I am doing right now is I'll be building the code from the scratch and telling you like, hey, what is you have to do, and these are the things you have to install. Okay. So before we begin, I'll be covering some of the prerequisites for the tutorial that you can do with your, obviously, for the things, right? Um, some people might ask in the reactor series that, hey Toki, what operating system you are using right now? So basically what I'm using is I'm using the Fedora Linux, which is of the version 6, and of the 8064 processor with the terminal as GNU Linux. That is it. So you might be having some pop-up question like, hey Toki, which we have to install? Okay. I'll be telling you that in a simple manner. Hold up for me. Pop. I was just getting some uh, web browser for my part. That is very simple thing. All you have to do is go for Azure CLI part first of all, right? Install it. As discussed, you have to install Azure CLI. Where is it? Since I'm using Linux, go in the Open tab and install it wisely. Install it wisely. This is the rule. You have to get through everything. Have to get through everything. Since I had been using Fedora, I'll be using these packages and installing the signing key. There are high possibilities that might be using the Mac OS. Don't do anything. Just don't do anything. Get on the brew, install the brew in the prerequisite manner, and install the Azure CLI. That's it. You were done. But hey, wait, is it all done? No, absolutely not. Let us install with the Terraform. Uh, Bing chat is always faster than us to do so AI. So you might be seeing that every operating system has their own Terraform. Yes, Terraform is that thing that will help you to provision the IAC part, infrastructure as a code part, right? Tap HashiCorp. You have to install HashiCorp for this. Let us suppose you are using the Linux part. Let us suppose you are using the Linux part. Just get on the Ubuntu, Debian, anything that you are using. And that is why I'm using Fedora. In the same manner, you can install it the way it is. So do not worry about that. The time you are able to pop up with everything, you are having the CLI, the Terraform installed on your system, what you can do is, let us see if this can work. Boom. Here you can see that Linux AMD can has been installed with the Terraform part. Terraform has been installed on my Linux. That is a great initiative. Obviously, that is awesome. We have got installation with the Terraform. Now we can start provision our code and build up the setup, right? Hmm, Before I go ahead, I'll be closing everything and and again and getting to my Azure portal and telling you what the subscription is all about, right? What the subscription is all about, right? So I'm on my Azure portal. From where did you get it? Go to portal.azure.com. You will be getting everything, everything. In my subscription, in my subscription key, I'm having my subscription ID and the key. Obviously, I cannot show it in the front of all of you right now because it contains some of the things that you know can be shown right now. Obviously, that's mine. So how did I get it? The question is, how did I get it? You might be asking, hey, okay, you are a student ambassador, you have gotten it. Some people might be Microsoft MVPs, they might be getting all of these things. But how the one who are not a student ambassador neither or MVP, how they get it? Uh, get on the GitHub student developer tab. Get on this. Apply for the same. Apply for the same. From here you will be getting it. Let us suppose you are not able to get the student developer pack. Hmm, get this for free. The Azure provides a credit for the student with all of these certainty with the free services. Just apply your things, apply your domain, and you will be getting everything for free. Sometimes that I have also heard that uh, Microsoft Shadow, uh, uh, Azure. Uh, Here at Microsoft startups, people are also getting a lot of stuff around the Azure credits. If your startup or your funding idea has been selected by the Microsoft, and many of the people around the community in the Microsoft are building upon the same. And precisely in the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador community, if you ask me so, there are many student ambassadors who have gotten the access to most of the things using these things, right? The Azure Credit Card. By getting a domain, building their startup, and getting access to the Microsoft Student Developer, Microsoft, Microsoft Startup Card. This was all for the Azure Credit, from where you can get all these things around. No problem with that. I hope you will be getting soon. Hope so, right? These are not certain things, but yeah, the learning is a must to get around these things. Before we get on the hands-on, I'll be telling you that in our Azure VM, the thing which we'll be creating from the Terraform is not available right now, which typically means that we are not having any infrastructure right now. We will be creating that soon using the VS code using the Terraform, right? So here we go. And what I'll be doing is, mm, since it has all the things, uh, I'll be removing, right? There's nothing here. Whew. Before we begin, right? In every domain, nor in DevOps, in the SDLC process, in the software development lifecycle, in the process of software development, we always follow the industry level things. So there is always a folder structure. Now let me recite you how these folder structures work and what are its importance. Let us start with the basic one, the main.ts. Right? Oh, absolutely, it doesn't contain anything right now. You can check. And my GitHub Copilot is forcing me to build a code. He's saying like, "Hey, Taki, let's build a code." I will like, "No, I have to code it along with you." Let us see. Provider. Yes, provider is needed. I'll be telling you what the provider is all about and how these things are necessary. Obviously, go for the variables. Oh, I'm so sorry. Variables. Obviously, while we do code, we take up the use of variables. Now we have to use it. So please understand, we need variables. Hereafter, we need to create what? The output part. We need to always check on that. Hey user, hey developer, hey DevOps engineer. What the output is being generated? and what was the result out of it. So go along with that part, right? I have created this thing for. But you might be thinking that, hey, Toki, there are certainties. What are those certainties? Certainties something sometimes can be you need to pass on your environment variable because Azure is obviously not free, so there might be some password level encryption. There might be something token level encryption, right? So you need to surpass those. So how do we manage it in the code basically? And at the very same time, we have to hide those as well. So what we can do is we can create a special file named as Terraform TF variables, right? Now, in all of these certainties, we have to do a lot of stuff. We can open main, right? And variables, and then output. But what if I say dot hey Fox, you can get on all the variable using the internet itself. I'll be telling you how did I get the code. HashiCorp, because Terraform is built by HashiCorp. HashiCorp Azure provider. It's telling you by default because it is all with go. HashiCorp has all the registry for the Terraform, right? We need to use the provider. Just copy paste all of these things. It went all in the provider. That's it. I'll be telling you what the variable is. I know how. I'll be telling you how you can access those things. That's an important factor. So there are always an instances that like, hey, Toki, what are these providers called? So provider is nothing but the dependencies or the file which they can get from the cloud of the HashiCorp Terraform and tell that, hey, this is the code we will be using for the Azure. Please help us build this code so that we can create a infrastructure, right? So I believe this is all far clear and certain, right? Now, the very important step, the main.ts, because this contains those things that will be created, those things that will be visible on your Azure portal, right? So I have created the code. I'll be just debugging along the way. So I'll be narrating what the code is being used and why this so, right? Absolutely telling you that resource group is one of the important factors while creating the Azure cloud. In the Azure, the resource group, RG is always required because it is type of repository which contains all the things which is required to host a VM. So through this code, we are creating one, we are creating one resource group. Don't worry, I'll explain it. This is the type of code architecture we are fetching from the Terraform and we are naming it as main, right? Let us go ahead. Don't worry your name and location. I'll be telling why that's so. And my co-pilot is pushing me like, hey, Takir, let us build this thing and get up with all the name facts. Let us build the Azure virtual machine, sorry, virtual network, which is of the name main. We always need the virtual network to bridge to a certain network so that it can be connected to the whole internet that is being used. Your internet to the whole internet, the global internet, the whole typically is the global. While learning the network, you might have heard about the subnet because it used to be in my fifth semester of my BTech, and I got a lot of shame over that. Like I wasn't able to understand, but it's a very easy concept. Creating subnet, net under net, net under net. That is net you will create every time you create a VM. Obviously, how other people or you can access the code, I mean the virtual machine, the virtual cloud, right? On the virtual cloud on your terminal, you will need a IP, right? The public IP. Let us create this so far, right? So you are creating a static public IP on the main, on the using the main, and we are naming this as my VM IP. And same for the subnet as well. It's my subnet. It's my VM net, right? It's my VM. Now let us go for the NIC, network interface. It is a type of concept you have to understand. I'll be giving a moment here. So we are creating an NIC, right? We are creating an NIC, and which will be configured internally through like any of the IDs which we have right now, and that will push along the code, right? So and those NICs being created by the IP, which have been already created. And from where we are getting these IP, where we are getting these IP through these resource. So how we are accessing those IP? Azure RM dot main and the ID which has been created by the Terraform, and those ID will be allocated to the public IP address. Right? This you have to understand. You might be thinking that hey Toki, like you have created such a code which is quite complex. No, 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 no. I'm just here narrating what has been done. I'll be also telling you like where I have such a code and how I use the AI into that, and everything is available on the internet. So do not worry about that. And apart from all of these stuff, we always and always have the IP, right? Everything here. And the most important aspect to understand here is that the publisher, right? The publisher. Let us suppose you are creating a VM, but which VM? The which publisher that will be used? It can be canonical, which is publishing Ubuntu, their Ubuntu server, or it can be like RHEL based Fedora. It can be accessible. So you can also read about them. Let us suppose I'm on my virtual machine on my portal, creating one virtual machine on my portal. Here you will be asking all of these things. See, creating resource group, the virtual machine name, the image name that will be used upon, the architecture, the size, right? But what we have done is created everything on the code, managing and compiling the things. We are attaining everything that is under our vision. Since we cannot be on the portal every time, right? It's quite difficult. So here we are using our storage permission with a canonical name, and here we are saving it. So till then, we have created a provider main, right? Now let us understand what V variables go for. For a glimpse, you might be understanding this thing where it's where admin password username. So where it is coming from? If you had said variables, then you are very correct. Absolutely. Right? The resource groups, the things which we need to be passed on to the other files that so that they can access the data and understand what name it should be given, what are the content should be provided, and what are the resources that are available. That will be accessible. That this file will tell them like, hey, these are the XYZ things that you have to deploy. Got it? And here the other functionality I cannot reveal it. From resource group name to the location, VM size, admin username, admin password, everything we are defining it here. Remember, we are defining it here. And the point to be clicked or to be noted is that we are passing a value default. Now, what is this? You might be understanding what is the description. Okay, this is a thing that is defining a resource group name. What is the type? It can be string. But what is default? Right? What is default? Getting back to main and understanding resource group name, let us suppose I directly gave it a name, my Azure VM, right? So what will be created? What will be created? Oh gosh, Hmm, Azure VM from main, right? So it typically means that this value will be overridden in the Terraform. But let us suppose I am not given it. Chat value will be overridden by this value. By this value, Azure, right? Understood? This is the value of default, and this is the importance of defaulting. If we get into the location, from the variable location, it is being given location. Typically means that the time it will be the VM will be created, it will be asking for a location. Whose location will be given? Each US location will be given because we have given the default value. The default will be passed on to the this variable, and this variable has the value of the each US with the location keyword, and this will be passed to location. From here to here and to here. That's it. This is all you have to. We are almost clear with the you know the VM part. It's getting complex, and since we need the output, it's a very important factor. Sometimes people do not create the output, but I usually love creating the output because that is a good practice. Others can, who are your teammates or the one who are learning again with you, can understand what you have created and how it can be pulled off. So that's just simple. I created this thing, and you can understand from the code itself. And do not worry, we have the code along with it. Parth can mention the my GitHub repository directly into the chats. You can access that public repo and clone it, and boom, just attach your subscription key. Go ahead with that. Yeah, here we go. Now here comes the major concept: Terraform PF variables, the environment variable. The environment variable. That is, you have to understand. These environment variables are the secret keys, are the secret keys of your code. And absolutely, it cannot be passed not only to the GitHub, but also to this talk as well, not lively. So what I'll be doing is pulling my screen off for a moment and completing the code. Or all I'll be doing is, what I'll be doing is, uh, this is my code. Oh gosh. And that is my admin password. Yes, these are the admin user key, username and the password that will be passed on for your VM, right? Your VM. And finally, my subscription ID. Also, so you might be thinking that, hey, Toki, uh, hey, Toki. What is the difference then between the variables TF and the Terraform.tf variables? You might be having question, right? Because both are working similarly, we are both giving the values and both are holding the values and the keys, and that will be passed on. So what is that? So let me tell you, let me decide what is all about. In the variables.tf, listen to me very carefully. You are not only giving the description, declaring it fully, giving the default, right? But if you understand it wisely, for the secret part, this part, you are just defining it. But in the secret of tm.variables, what you are doing, you are passing on the value directly. I'll be putting off my screen off again and filling in the values. So don't worry that I just forward. No, I didn't forget. I remember. So yeah. Path, am I allowed to like pull off the screen again? I'm just closing it for a moment. Don't worry, guys. Here will be double quoted and the value will be passed on. So I'm not sharing it on the internet right now. Yeah. So let me fill it. Okay. I filled it and changing my screen. Path, can you please? Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Path. So, absolutely, we have got the things, and this file contains my secret keys of my current Azure subscription. So, we can go ahead and yeah. So, here comes the time that you might be thinking that okay, you have coded a long things. Uh, you have got a lot of things factors. So, what we shall be doing? We shall be first of all plugging it. The provider we have got in the code, we have to download it. How it will be done? See. Use the command terraform init typically means to initialize the Terraform things, it's everything into this folder. Remember one thing, it is somewhat similar to the git init, .git init folder, right? So check out what it's all about. So I hope you just said that has been downloaded. HashiCorp Azure RM has been downloaded. This file has been downloaded. So it contains all the registries, providers, whatever we have to this code. We have Terraform log SCL. I'll be telling you why is it so. Why is it so? Let us do Terraform plan. What does command does? It typically helps us to understand after applying the code what changes will be done. Understand first of all what is all about. It is telling you that hey Toki, you have created a code. We have compiled all the code into one thing. This is the thing that will be provided on your cloud subscription, right? We can understand like network interface will be made, it will be created, your resource group will be created, your public IP will be created, it will be allocated, and all again, what are the things that has been required to fulfill the requirements. You can also check that. It is also telling you that publisher will be canonical since we have chosen our publisher from here, canonical. So yeah, that's all you have to do. If we go and apply it, the process will be started, right? Let us hit and check out what can be done. Here comes the Terraform state log file info. I'll be telling you why is it so, what is it all about, because these two files are very important because co-pairing the concept comes in because I'll be telling you just get it approved first of all. Everything is on the process and we are creating for the same for the thing that we are here for. It is creating the resources, resource group, and those resource group XYZ thing will provide it. So it is being creating all of those stuffs, right? It is on the process. It takes couple of time uh, and for my view and for my experience, I've always learned that in the DevOps part, everything takes up the time because you need to streamline the process and go along with the main. So yeah, produce. We can check out there's something green, and we have to see what has been built. So you can check out. It's apply complete, all set. Resource set 8 added, 0 changed, and 0 destroyed. Perfect. 8 thing had been added in your subscription ID, right? My public IP has been provided, and VM ID has been given. Under which thing? Under the output command. How did we get the output? From here. If you can see, this is what we have demanded. VM ID and the public IP. This is all the Terraform has printed on the command line. What if I say that you can access this public IP through your terminal, right? This is my screen, and what you can do is it is always in the command like SSH at the rate IP, right? So what this command will be do? What this command will do? It will typically SSH to this IP using this username. What is the username? Talk Azure. And how did I get that username? This is what I have created in the Terraform TF variable so that it cannot be overridden by someone else because we are coming out on a live, right? So we have to define it in a simple manner. Let us try. It is saying that, hey, okay, should I add this IP in our host? Obviously, it is always contained in the forward slash etc slash host. So all IP is stored over there. So it is asking that password which I have created in the terraform.tf variable, which was secret, which was very, very secret. I will be not telling it on the screen. Boom. I hope you can understand from here that I must say that it's bigger now. You can check out that your username has been given with this host name. I'll be telling you how did I got the host name. I was also perplexed while I was coding, but yeah, I'll be telling you. This is your host name, right? This is your host name, and what we are using is so we are on the Linux host name. Obviously, this is about our username, right? The host we are using it, so we have given the host name on Ubuntu. On Ubuntu, this is what we have created through the code. Here you can see Ubuntu server. And what uh, I'm using right now is Fedora. So that's totally a different thing. So you might be thinking that, hey, okay, there should be some pop-up on the Azure portal, right? So if you're thinking yes, then you are very, very correct. Okay. I'll be going back again to my Azure portal. Let's see what is here. And boom, my VM has been created with this public IP. Uh, my VM has been created with this public IP. And if I enter this thing, said, let us see how which command is it telling us to connect. Forward. The same command we used for entering or SSHing in our Azure VM, which we have created through Terraform infrastructure as a code back on VS Code, as well as we haven't created any PEM file. Sometimes we can create file, but it is always better to manage the personal keys, the secret keys, so it can be passed on to the other person as well. So yeah, otherwise then the PEM file need to be pushed to the cloud native, and yeah, then you have to manage over there. So, right. So here we have gotten the facts that VM has been created, and perfect. But the very important factor comes in that, hey Tokir, when we create virtual machine, there are a high chances we are working in a team, right? And there we have to manage the states. At least we can manage the state from this manner, that let us suppose I am changing any of the thing uh, in the code. So what shall be happening is it will updating my Terraform state and telling you the until unless next time you apply the code again, it will be updated soon, right? But that doesn't matter for a cloud programming. Let us get back to the topic again and understand. Let us suppose my very good friend Path, who is backstage right now, uh, is building along with me on the Azure, and there are high chances that he shall be also working on that. He will be also working on that, right? And there I need to share the key, but that is not a healthy manner. No? That doesn't good, right? So here we got some fact uh, which can be understood with a topic named as uh, our Azure VM. This setup is also called remote backend, the remote backend control. What we does is simply creating another resource group, pushing the key there, and performing and pushing a Terraform TS state into that, so that let us suppose my friend Path is creating some resources on the same resource group, and at the very same time, I'm also creating a resource. It might collide. It is perilous. So what we can do is push our lock key to the cloud in another resource group and push it over there and let the Azure manage it. Let us suppose Path has successfully created the provider, or in the process of creating the resource. My log file will be locked till that time, until unless his provider has been sanctioned or his resource group has been sanctioned. The time it get allocated as free, I'll be getting this file again, and I'll be creating the next resource from this channel. So this is a safety lever, because the topic comes for the infrastructure, and over the infrastructure you have to do a lot of stuff, because on the infrastructure you are typically installing a lot of things, right? So it can be burden off easily, and there can chance of no safety lever, and we have nothing else to go with the. like uh, no precision manner, right? It can be perilous. It is perilous in some of the manners. So, so let us close this thing. Let us close this thing. And if you might be asking, like, hey, Toki, you have created a lot of resource group. How do we deliver it? This is the resource group we have created, and under this resource group, we are having all of these stuff. Everything that has been attached with resource group will be mentioned here on the Azure portal. But you might be thinking that, hey, okay, we have to get on the portal again that you have to relate to. No, my friend, no. You have to manage the thing from the console itself, typically from the terminal itself. I was asking the terminal as a console, but typically uh, in the technical barrier or in the technical language, this is called the portal and also the console. So keep it this in mind. It can be asked in the interview. How do we delete everything? Because it is charging a lot of money, right? It has told that hey, this much of the credit is remaining. So what I'll be doing is destroy. It will be reading the files again. It will be getting back to the portal again and asking like, are the things synced or not? Are the things synced or not? And telling you like, hey, everything is good. We can delete all these resources, and it will be giving a receipt as well on the terminal that hey, Sophie, these are things that will be deleted and nullified after you press yes. And obviously, we shall be pressing yes, yes, and here we go. It is deleting. It takes couple of time. In the meantime, what we can do is we can read on things like uh, mm, Terraform, Terraform, uh, uh, resource groups. Since I was in the middle of the like tutorial, so I cannot be in that part that where I'm explaining. But yeah, if you might be thinking like where to learn it from, where to get the things on, so everything that you need to understand is available in Discord. How these things are explained, how these things are figured out. So this is you have to understand, right? On the learn.microsoft.com, everything is available for free. Go understand it. What's the code and what are the things that has been included in those code. For it is being on the process and you can still figure out what it's all about. And there are also some developer guidelines by the hardship of itself that how you can create the proper Azure VM through this code. And also my code repository is also public, typically open source, so you can also clone it and build using with that code, right? And I also back to say that please attach your subscription ID into that because it will be asked to do so, and it will be built upon your name. So that is somewhat crucial. It's still taking a lot of time, and yeah, so that's the major thing. And also the time it is being deleted, you may also think that log file is on the log state. So please understand this part, right? If I just have a search using this, Microsoft Learn must be having a proper Windows VM cluster using the Terraform. But since we were into the uh, Terraform VM, this tutorial for the process part. So I'll be copy pasting this up. Part if you can put along this in the chat, that would be very crucial and helpful as well. I pasted two things, so you can carry on with that. And forward, we have successfully destroyed our VM, that is so-called infrastructure, and there's nothing that we did. And if we go back on our portal and let us see if it is still available, hey, not there. So, hey, okay, it's not there. Obviously, we have deleted so far, so no customizers in that process. So enjoy. And forward, you have successfully learned uh, what is being meant by the IAC part, the infrastructure as a code, the Terraform, how explicitly parse the content, how you manage it, what are the folder structure, and how these files, these folders works, and what is the difference between the Terraform.tf variable, which contains your secret keys, and the variable.tf, which explicitly contains the variable, their description, their type, but not that particular value, not particular that value that should be hidden the way it is hidden on this uh, stream here, like on this stream, live stream. So yeah, I believe it was almost good. Uh, Parth, if you could take up the stage, over to you. That will be much helpful, right?
Hey Takir, thank you for the wonderful session. Yes, folks, if you all have questions, please drop in the comment section.
Yeah, please. I'm happy for a Q&A.
Meanwhile, Takir has shared some links which can take your learning further. Please do take your learning further. And here's one more link about Terraform. Yes, Takir, we don't see questions coming up. Let's call for a wrap.
Okay. So I believe that I explained this much in a good manner that no one had a question or no one understood it because it's a quite complex topic for a very beginner. It should be understood by the intermediate DevOps engineer. So I'm also moving towards a DevOps. So I tried hosting this one so that this can help the community of the Azure understand how we can build the Azure VM using the Terraform, the so-called buzzword, which is typically not a buzzword anymore after this session.
Thank you all so much. Thank
So
you, Takir. Thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you all have a good evening.